We will start in a while. Just give me a few moments. Hi everyone, I'll just start in a few moments. I'm just back from Supreme Court and did a couple of other things. So I'll try and cover whatever I can. First of all, congratulations to all the people from Supreme Court of India. Tomorrow is the election day, and my vote is definitely for ballot number 9 for Advocate Das. Um, First of all, she's a female candidate. Second of all, as such, she doesn't have any backup like the third generation or the fourth generation um, government of family lawyers. So in many of our conferences, there have been discussion around promoting the female founders. However, I feel first of all, for the longest time, I have been talking about technology has to marry technology has to marry the law. Having said that, internet till date is not known to many, and it's not that you write IT Act and that becomes a Harry Potter of the book. Information technology is much deeper. Congratulations to IT on completing 160 years. I'm happy to be part of the biggest family of United Nations. Not only that, United Nations is one family, then it's my own family, then my extended family, and we are a big family. I mean, the first first is very big in nature. That being said, tomorrow is Supreme Court elections, and we should be, or as citizens of India, we should be promoting the women to come forward and take part in the judicial stuff. But at the same point of time, it takes a lot to be a woman of substance. It's easy to be a woman. It's easy to be, play that victim card. However, when you stop playing that victim card and when you look into yourself and see that what has happened, you will realize there's only one way of seeing it. So if I talk about this picture, which is behind me, um, I don't know how many people understand this. This is basically Ardnarishwar portrait, which illustrates when there's a combination of feminine and male energy. That kind of power is the woman power, and especially in the judiciary, that power has to be embraced. Not just any women, coming from X background, Y background, is someone who would be able to do justice to this Supreme Court. That being said, I'm so happy with the current election of the president. I went through the details, and in my head, I call her auntie because I was very fortunate to go through the books and everything. And what a journey! I mean, our current president, she doesn't talk much in terms of um, at least I haven't seen those videos. Maybe those videos might be on some channel because the kind of work I do in the online world, um, there is just little bit out of bandwidth I have every day just for myself, because from the time I wake up in the online, from the time I wake up from the sleep, it's just there's too many things on the lined up, and then solving my own big problems which has been hovering my head for the longest time. I mean, I became patent agent in the year 2006, and I think my problems with my own self started with the year 2002 when I passed out my 12th standard, because the dilemma of even selecting what to do, where to go, and all that thing. Why it is important here is because the education system in India is totally broken. I don't know how many people understand that. I studied CBSE, but there are different boards now. There's something called as international board also in India. However, in those days, because I come from army background in terms of my early education and then the convent, so the transition from army to convent was, in my head, to my mind, it was very different, because civilians are treated very differently in the army head, because at any given point of time, army people are very strong people in terms of the way they think, the way they observe. I remember, my Hindi is not that good, but I remember from the very early age, we used to write letters in Hindi, and the first thing was Save Army. So at least Delhi Army, and that school is right now number two in Delhi. So I studied in the junior branch, that is Delhi Area Primary School, DAPS. Um, that being said, why I'm going haywire from that direction to where we are today, because it's very important to understand that why it is so important to abolish the Patent Act 1970 and the Trademark Act of 1999, because so much garbage has been created with the patenting stuff and with the trademarking stuff that there is no way to resolve it. At least to my mind, there's no way we can resolve it, because there are zillion applications which I wrote, the frameworks I have developed, and those frameworks are being misused by countries like Malaysia, Singapore, you name it. Everyone, maybe India is also misusing it in some way or the other, because they can get hand on the details of the the patent application, and those framework are so lethal that is very easy to create a cyber threat for anyone. And to stop that nonsense, it's very important to abolish everything, so that we start at square one, and it is null and void for everyone. So that's my earnest request to the Ministry of Commerce, to the current government, because I have been serving as an Indian patent agent since 2006. So that was Congress plus the VGP era. So both have their own plus and cons. I'm not getting into it. And nobody even wants to talk about ARP, because ARP has just spoiled everything for everyone. They promised so many things to everyone, but they just misused everything for themselves. So that cognizance is already there. And all these private banks involved, especially all the bankers, which we all know who are those players, and even the player names have been given. Now, all these players, most of the players have been staying in Malaysia for the longest time, and including AirAsia. So When I boarded AirAsia for the very first time, I remember for two people, you take the plane, coming back, everything, the to and fro fee structure was around 21,000. But with the advent of cheap flights and everything, a lot of garbage has happened. I don't even want to get into it. So that is one reason patent act has to be abolished, because all these MSMEs, they are all, I mean, the order form is too much. जस्ट से वी आर डूइंग बिजनेस, आपको धंधा करना है, आप धंधा करिए, आपको धंधा समझ में आता है, आप धंधा करिए, आपको धंधा समझ में नहीं आता, व्यापार समझ में नहीं आता, व्यापार मत करिए। एक व्यापारी बनने के लिए आपको बहुत सारी चीजों की जरूरत होती है। सबसे पहली चीज, to do any business, whether it's online world and offline world, is honesty, trust. If these two pillars are not there, forget internet. Blockchain का तो कर्व ही नहीं है इंडिया में. If people think they have some kind of blockchain which is based out in India, please go ahead, play your own game. Our game is totally different. Our enterprise is totally different. Our company is totally different. Although Elon Musk, Bharti Foundation, me, we are part of one core group of what we are working on. That is just one part. But I am part of the other core groups also, where we are working with all honesty. Honesty is the first and the principal golden lining of anything and everything. If there's no honesty, the trust becomes rust. And the Supreme Court has to take cognizance of it, and they have to start fresh. We cannot be pushing on cases on condonation of delay for rest of the life. We cannot be making lawyers rich. If that is the game, it has to be played. Then DAOs are going to play their part, and DAOs play it very safely, because DAOs can code in the online world, and that will change the offline world. There's nothing called as dark web and the real web and the blah blah blah. The new world order was already very well written way back. I would rather say 1999 in clear picture, but that order was always there in the patenting language dating back to 16th century, 15th century patents. Now, coming back to the point of the branding part, I don't know what they are going to suggest, because my suggestion is always like, if we can have two, three different hypotheses, and let's see what works well. Now, all these IFS like Indian Foreign Services, I don't understand what is their work ethics, because if you see in the online world, one IFS is blaming the other IFS, third IFS is blaming the fourth IFS. I think Mr. Shashi Tharoor should throw some light on it, because he seems to be the poster boy of IFS fraternity. So, Tharoorji, please enlighten us how the IFS actually works, and what is wrong with the IFS profession itself. Because if they're diplomats, diplomats are supposed to be doing their duty. What happened in Bangladesh and what that person did, I don't want to name that person. I met that person in person in Geneva, so I know him very closely. I did communicate this to another IFS whom I know, and I have a lot of respect for him. That being said, let's get back to the branding part. I don't know how this is going to work, but I'll try it. Now there are a lot of Indian folks who are against the foreign branding, and these fachas are getting honorary PhDs and all, and who say they have been bullied in this school. So I think bully has got a new name. Like, if you're bullied, you are going to get a honorary PhD from the Indian universities. Let's come back to the point. So this is basically category heroes, right? So if you see the branding here, it says Cocoa Life. So unwrap a good habit, let's recycle. So what means for recycling here? Recycling has multiple uh, understanding. One is you reuse it. I'm reusing it. Many a times there are times where you feel that it cannot be reused. Just um, get it cut and then reused in something else, or just melt it and use it for something else, mold it and do it something else. And those kind of simple innovations are not patentable, that is already available. So please don't waste attorney's time. If you feel you have done something, go and pay the government office in the offline mode, pay 2100 and get your patent filed, and you will get a patent or not. Please eat the head of the patent examiners. Patent agents are not here to support this kind of endeavor. Point number one. Point number two, the kind of branding I wish to talk about is, now this is Tetle. This is original, and basically, um, It's for the magical moments that transform your day. The first sip make you smile, blah blah blah. The next sip leave you blah blah blah. There's a quantity. Now the image is for only illustration purpose. How how many points would I give this on the scale of 1 to 10? I'll give it 6. There is a lot of improvement which can be done on this branding. So this is what is called as food labeling. The next one is fearless, blah 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 blah. On the scale of branding, I'll give it 7 because here again, to to a layman mind, I know branding, so I can read this stuff. Person who doesn't understand branding, you need more color coding here. Why don't we just use 7 different colors and just make it all colored so that at least people start understanding it. If we are doing some kind of work and people or the common man is not able to understand, then there's something wrong with us. And that is what is, every day I try to answer. I thought that people have some cognizance of understanding of color coding, this, that, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing in the market of that sort. Then this is Dettol original 10 rupee packet. Now what can be done? Now see, there are two ways to use it. When you use it, you can just fold it and then you can pour it that way. And again, in some aspects it can be reused if you use an injection and pour whatever you wish to pour. Now the next thing is hand sanitizing wipes. Again, this branding, I'll give it somewhere between 7 to 8, not 10. Then I have this Assam tea. This is better. I would give it 8.5. Now, what to do with these? If you have these, reuse it till the time you can reuse, and then just you have Delhi is right now Sahara Desert, right? And if Delhi has become Sahara Desert, just dry it and do some coloring and just reuse it and be sustainable. There's no competition on this. And these are the small sachets. You can just keep it with you and just get some hot piping waters from somewhere, and your coffee is ready. Now, if I just talk about the current situation of the land, because we have reached 2080 in terms of the weather conditions. So there's no recourse or reback from there. Now, what we can do is we have to increase our immunity. We have to boost our immunity to a level where we are able to survive, or the humans are able to survive in whatever way they can. Because in this kind of sun, you need electrolytes. So there's a brand called as Fast Enough Reload. I haven't tried it yet. Probably I'll try it tomorrow and give the feedback. However, there is too much information. I can't even read it. So I can't even see the QR code properly. This is one thing. And then we have this. Ashwagandha for the longest time is... Okay, now these things, Himalaya based or anything which is Ayurvedic, right? It might suit you, it might not suit you. So please be careful when you are consuming it. Go to the physician, and you have to go to the physician, every week. You can't be saying, just a body checkup once a year or twice a month. I just want to finish a video next 6-7 minutes so that I can get on to the other stuff. Having said that, this kind of stuff, ashwagandha and stuff, it might suit you, it might not suit you in the tablet format. So at your own risk. But for me, it has worked. I take it. This is done. Okay, again, this is my friend's brand. So I'm promoting my friend and the kind of work these guys have done. This is Bhutan based. It's 750 ml. Quite. It illustrates luxury. That's what the brand is all about. So if it is luxury, it should illustrate. If it is not illustrating, then there's something wrong with the brand. And obviously, every Indian's favorite is thumbs up. I mean, hands down on this. For me, like, if I'm feeling low, I need thumbs up. If I'm traveling, I take thumbs up with me. Because that is the reason this is not available in other countries. You might get, Coca-Cola, vanilla, and whatnot. But this thumbs up, it's really good. Now, I'll just talk about industrial design. I'm just giving one example. This is an example type. Now, this is supposed to be industrial design. Now, everybody copies. Now the thing is, since the damage calculation is so low and the process is so big. Nobody wants to file intellectual property rights. So my suggestion is, if you cannot go through the process, if you cannot go through the pain, please don't file intellectual property rights. Just have contracts in place and make sure that those contracts are abided. Use smart contracts, have good lawyers, pay your lawyers. Don't go for these cheap services, all these shops which are working from home in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, who might be working for $3 and $5. If you're coming to a Delhi based lawyer, the basic professional fees would be $1,000 plus GST just for the consultation, and that to the basic consultation. Don't expect miracles to happen by just paying X amount of money. Because I remember when I worked under DC Singhania sir, for whatever time I was there, he started off that practice, and that point of time he used to charge $40 per hour, and that is in the 1990s. And on the timeline we are sitting in 2025, so that respect has to be there. Now another thing is, a lot of people are saying, oh, our kids are doing so much innovation. Please, this is not innovation. We used to, in army school, we used to do daily. Now if you're getting a miso box, or whatever box is coming, and if you doing some coloring and you think that this kind of innovation needs a clapping or an award, God only help you guys. This is not innovation. This is just basic understanding. If you can reuse, good. If you want to pack something, give it to somebody else, that is also good. But be realistic in expectation. Expectation is something else, and the reality is totally different. If I have to talk about branding, which I love right now, is from Mimi. So it's basically with the Harry Potter group, and I was fortunate enough to go and train myself for this. So platform 9.3.4. I am still with my house. Of course, my house is my house, right? House in terms of the Harry Potter house. Um, that being said, what is important here is just abolish these two acts, because that will at least mitigate a lot of things. And as far as the communication protocol is concerned, I mean, God only help. And I mean, if X country thinks they can do without the Y country, then just do it and see it for yourself. What happens next? Because technology comes at a price, and especially communication. And let me tell you, you would be seeing a lot of FDI in the online world. FDI in the offline world will finish. That's the simplest thing to do, because so much money is saved when you are doing it online. I had already deployed 10,000 AI agents. Now those 10,000 AI agents have become 1 lakh plus AI agents. Plus, those agents are being trained by the other agents in other countries, and they are creating their clones. So that cloning or that pairing or that clipping or that clamping is already done. So just using an English language word, especially with people who are in tech, who are in really deep tech, it's not going to make any difference. Rather, it will create a rabbit hole for those folks who are trying to even understand that. Because for understanding that, the basic protocol is, the first foremost protocol is to understand that kind of it's not a hypothesis, it's a reality, right? Every person's story is different. I mean, that story itself is so, I mean, that story, the real chapters itself. I'll take an example. I'll take example of William Shakespeare. If you go through the stories, or you go through the stories of Tom Sawyer, I mean, both are in different directions, but the learning might be the same. That's what you know the the online world is all about. And we always talked about the online world is going to mimic the offline world, and in that, the YouTube creators have created the biggest history, because the kind of YouTubing has been done over the years, and especially, I would say maybe from 2019 till 2025, and the government is still allowing it to follow. So if you allow these kind of things, then there would be repercussions, because when somebody or whatever is happening is showing something, and they're showing it to tell the other party, hey, this is what this is, then that is a difficult situation. And that kind of difficult situation is very difficult to understand. I could have just put a UI at back of my um, wall. But this wall is totally different. I mean, so much has happened over the years now that even I have lost track of, what is correct, what is wrong, what is right. The only thing now I think is what should be done in real time so that the input data is correct from my end. I try to give as much as real input data so that the coders globally can do something and mitigate the risk in the online world, and that mitigation risk is averted, and that particular part is taken care of in the offline world. Thank you for watching out the video. Have a great day ahead.